Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Oh, Shane Drummer, you saw him Saturday. You saw him Saturday. You saw him.
The big penguin?
Did you see him take flight?
He scored 0 points in the fourth quarter, and you're out here raving about the big penguin? Did you see what the Clippers did last night? They made 21 of 42 threes. They are running away with the NBA three-point shooting at 42% as a team. They are on pace to set the all-time record for offensive efficiency in the NBA. And nobody wants to talk about them, and that's fine.
Exactly.
Let's not say one word today about the Clippers, and I am happy.
Hey, if you don't mind me asking, who did they play last night?
I know.
Who
Can we
did they
not
play
bring
last
up
night?
Minnesota
played Jenny's
right now?
team.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Don't throw Jenny under the bus.
That win doesn't help you all out right now, Skip. Okay, I love the energy. We have so much to catch on. We're going to begin with the latest surrounding KD, because only a week after returning from a hamstring injury, Kevin Durant left yesterday's game against the Heat with a thigh contusion in the first quarter. But it was an appearance on a podcast over the weekend that generated even more buzz, where KD named his top 5 teammates he has ever played with. Kyrie, Harden, Steph, and Clay were quick to be named, and then Durant went with Serge Ibaka to round out the list. Then the host pointed out that Russell Westbrook was left off, at which point KD immediately said that of course Russ is on it and that he was, quote, tripping. So Shannon, how significant was it that he initially forgot Russ here?
Skip, I don't really think it was an accident. Now, you can't be upset at this man's list, who he had on it. But I think it's Skip, if somebody asks you, Skip, name me your 5 favorite food, and they're like, Skip, you didn't have broccoli, and you said you like broccoli all the time, or you didn't have chicken breast.
Oh, I forgot.
I think, Skip, now, he has an outstanding list, and I didn't realize it until I looked at it. Skip, do you realize Kevin Durant has played with 3 MVP players in their absolute prime? No other NBA player can boast that, have that on their resume. Said, I played with 3 MVPs in their prime. Not getting the guy skipping year 19, year 18. I'm talking about in their prime. Skipping when I was like, okay, it's not a bad list. He had an outstanding list now. But I'm like, wow. Steph probably like, oh, I got 2 MVPs. I changed the game forever. I got 3 chips, and I'm 3rd. But Russ has to be disappointed, Skip. And I think I don't think this is a very slight oversight. You played 8 years. Now, Russ and Serge came in the exact same year, but Serge spent his first year overseas, Skip. You played 8 years with Russ. You played 3 with Steph. This is your first year with Kyrie. I'm not counting, Skip, the NBA, the Olympic team. I'm not counting that. This is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, I think he played 4 years with James Harden, 3 in OKC, and this is his first year here, so 4 years. So you played basically double the time with Russ than you played with James, and also when you played with Kyrie. And Skip, you remember Serge, but you don't remember Russ? Skip, that was just, if you want to say Batman and Robin, that was Batman and Robin. KD, you were Batman. Obviously, Russ didn't want to be caught, but if you want to say 1A, 1B, Serge was what, 2C? 2, 3? And you said you remember Serge, but you didn't remember Russ. And the host had to bring it to your attention, and you said, oh, yeah, I'm tripping?
I'm tripping.
Skip, I mean, how am I going to say, should I name your teammates? Let's see, Elway, let's see, Terrell Davis, this one. Shannon, you played in Baltimore. You didn't mention Ray. Oh, yeah, man, I'm tripping, man. You're right. Man, you're right. Yeah, Ray. And since I forgot Ray, what? I'm gonna put him 3rd on the list because he had Klay Thompson. So now Skip. So what he did is that he said, you know what? Instead of putting Russ at 5th, I'm gonna put him at 4th. Skip, it just it seems to me that, and you talked about this, that KD felt that he could not win a title with Russ as his primary ball handler.
Yep.
And I don't care what anybody says. There's more to it than what KD will ever say. And KD has a way of saying things and say, well, I didn't say that. That's not what I meant. Y'all don't know anything. Y'all just trying to keep stories alive. But there's no possible way you played that many years with one guy. That guy's on his way to, guess what, Skip? Another season in which he's had at least 25 triple-doubles. He's about to average triple-double for the 4th time in his career. and you played 8 years with that guy. You went to an NBA Finals with that guy. You had a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals on a team that was 73-9. And you forgot that he was a teammate? Forget how good he was. You just forgot he was a teammate. Come on, Skip. There's more to it than that. You and I both know that. So, hey, that's KD's list. You want to say Kyrie's the best player than James Harden and Steph Curry? I got no problem with the order. Although I disagree with it, that's his list. But to leave Russ completely off, that's not an accident. I don't care what anybody says, that's not an accident.
Okay, obviously, first point of order on his list, you can't put Steph above your two current teammates, right? You just can't do it.
Yeah, the man got three.
You can't do it. You can't.
So just out of GP, you got to keep putting them guys there.
You just can't risk alienating either of your two teammates who are playing at their highest level.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, I can see that. I'll give you that.
Okay, now, back to Kevin Durant. There is no one in sports I enjoy psychoanalyzing more than I enjoy psychoanalyzing this man, Kevin Durant. Still believe he is the best player on this planet, but he just can't, at the moment, stay healthy.
Right.
That's a whole nother issue we'll get to in a little while.
Okay.
Now, was this an accident or not? There's a thing called a Freudian slip in which you inadvertently blurt something out that's deep down in your psyche.
Right.
This is more of a Freudian slip up, where you accidentally, quote unquote, forget something that you actually would like to forget that's stuck deep down in your psyche.
Correct.
So you can see his mind turning, and he's thinking, okay, Brooklyn, I got these two, and then I go over here to Golden State. Who was this? Yeah, the two Golden States. And then he goes to, okay, my first team was Oklahoma City. And the first name that wouldn't pop into your head, out of your psyche, wouldn't be Russell Westbrook. It would be Serge Ibaka.
Right.
Okay.
Is Serge better than Draymond?
All right, yeah. You know how I feel about Kevin. He's not happy unless he's unhappy.
Right.
He's not happy unless he's in the middle of some fire that he started on the internet that takes over the internet for about 24 hours.
Okay.
This has and this will. He has to be beefing with somebody. It might be you. It might be our guy, Michael Rappaport. It could be any number of people, but it's always somebody, some way, because that's how Kevin fuels himself.
Right.
I also think that he and Kyrie are so close that they actually love to start a media fire and then sit back and giggle while the internet burns to the ground over it, right? They do it on a weekly basis.
Right.
One or the other says something where everybody says, what? And here we go again. And they seem to thrive on it. They love this. So now back to my first quote unquote beef with Kevin Durant. This is back to the 2012 season. And it just flew into my psyche late last night and then early this morning when I saw that this had happened.
Right.
This is 2012, and I am the biggest Kevin Durant fan on the planet at this point, back to his year at Texas, in which I had raved on ESPN about this guy who's going to win multiple scoring titles in the league. And a lot of people on the show I did on ESPN laughed and scoffed at me for that. So I'm defending Kevin Durant, and all of a sudden, I don't know if I saw it at night or probably saw it the first thing in the morning, is that before a game in Oklahoma City, he had called over the beat reporter for the Oklahoman covering the Thunder and told him that I didn't know you-know-what about basketball because I was attacking his teammate, little Russell Westbrook. And it was actually a brilliant strategy on Kevin's part because he was trying to make it work with Russell. At a time they were at a flashpoint, and it was starting to develop into an almost can't live with conflict. And remember, 2012, they ended up going to the finals.
Right.
But during the 2012 season, Russell Westbrook took 18.7 shots per game. Kevin took 17.7. And I'm saying he's so much better than that guy as a scorer.
Right.
You know, Russ is, he plays 1,000 miles an hour. We get that. He's going to, it was clear at that point he could average a triple-double.
Right.
But he's going to get you pretty much double digits, especially rebounds at that point, and the assists would climb a little bit later. But the point was, he's taken one more shot a game than Kevin freaking Durant Well, on a daily basis, I was criticizing Russell Westbrook for doing that. And then Kevin turns and bites the hand that I thought was feeding him, me, and said, I don't know bleep about basketball. What? And I was dumbfounded by it, but I didn't know what Kevin's MO would be down the pike a little bit, this was going to be commonplace for Kevin. Because as we always laugh about, after he won his MVP, the next year at the All-Star game, with the media gathered on All-Star Friday, big press conference, all the most important voters were out there, and he told them they don't know bleep about basketball, and they were the same people who had just voted him MVP.
Yeah.
What? Are you kidding me? So it became clear to me as we went into that finals. Remember, they got blown out in 5 games by LeBron. It was LeBron's first ring. It's great. He was great all the way through, deserved to be the MVP of that series. But remember, they won game 1 in Oklahoma City, and it looked like a tour de force to me. Do you remember this?
Yes.
It was 105-94. So it was 11, and LeBron, D-Wade and company didn't even get to 100 points in that game. And I looked back at the box this morning, and I thought, Russell in that game took 24 shots to Kevin's 20. Russell was 10 of 24, but Kevin was 12 of 20, and the total points were 27 for Russ and 36 for Kevin, because he's about as efficient a scorer as we've ever seen in this league, okay? And then I look at, Russ that night was 0 of 4 from 3. That's no shock, right? Kevin was 4 of 8 from 3 that night. Aha! So you can make a case that the one big game that they showed you their star power and firepower, the Baby Thunder, it was Kevin overcoming Russ to a large degree. And even though Russ in that game had 8 rebounds and 11 assists, I'll give you that. But, man, Kevin was spectacular in that game. And you could see what the potential was. And then LeBron made a play. I thought he got a call at the end of game 2. Remember, on Kevin fouling him on the baseline. Then, to his credit, he went down and made a big free throw. And here they went home and just went boom, boom, boom.
But Skip, was it game 3 or game 4 in which Russ had 44 in the finals? Because remember, Russ went off when it went back to Miami. He had like 44, either game 3 or game 4.
I know, but Magic was on ESPN or ABC, I guess, at that point, at halftime, saying that Russell's first half of which game, was it the first game back in Miami? Was the worst finals game I've ever seen a point guard play. So you get the bitter and the sweet, and the bitter and the sweet. And there's no doubt Russell Westbrook was sweet much of the time, but I was told by a source very close to Kevin that in the end he concluded, as you just pointed out, I can't win a championship here with him as my primary decision maker, because Russ is going to dribble it up every time, okay? So his other problem was with Sam Presti and management. They loved Russell Westbrook. Why did Sam Presti love Russell so much? You want to talk about a great draft pick? That was 2008. He took him 4th overall. I didn't see him coming. I don't think you saw him coming at UCLA. He kind of got lost in the shuffle at UCLA, but to Sam Presti's credit, he took him. Now, the next year, he took James 3rd overall, and I didn't really see James coming. So we wound up with 3 future MVPs on one roster, and we know that. But if you look at what happened with Russell, my God, he just came out of nowhere as the 4th overall pick, and he was such a steal for Sam Presti that Sam put him on a pedestal in Kevin's eyes above Kevin. Okay. So you don't think this steal, it just sticks in Kevin's craw right now to this day? I think the rest of his born days, it's going to stick in his craw that they favored Russ over Kevin.
Because around the league, Skip, there at no point in time did anybody think Russ was the best player in the NBA. In a lot of circles, a lot of people believe that Kevin Durant was the best player, or at no worse than second best player in the NBA. Russ, I don't believe, will ever thought of in that circle. Skip, if you remember, I think it was 2016, they asked Russ, and KD was at the podium, and they asked Russ about Steph Curry's defense. And he was about to respond, and Kevin put his hand out like, I got this. I got this. Like, I'm the big bro. I'm going to take care. Don't even respond to that. So a guy that you protected, that you put on the front, that you're his big brother, you want what's best for him. When they ask you about your best 5 teammates, you don't only like put him in the top 5, you totally forget his name. You forget that you even played with the guy.
Yep.
Skip, you can't forget that. You can't. Skip, that's not Tabalosa. That's not one of those guys, Skip. That's an MVP.
Yep.
That guy's going to the Hall of Fame, and you forgot that you played with him for 8 years.
Yep.
You went to a finals. You went to the Western Conference Finals.
Yep.
You forgot all of that. And the guy had to bring it to your attention, and then you're like, oh, yeah, man, I'm tripping.
I'm tripping. And then, to Kevin's credit, then he elevated him one slot up above Clay.
Right.
Well, obviously, I think in most people's minds, he would belong above Clay.
Yes.
Okay, so on the list that he wound up with, I'm good with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't argue with him. Skip, the dude got 3 MVPs on his list.
Okay.
I mean, how you argue with it?
Okay, but Serge Ibaka is the first name that pops into your head.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. And remember, you played, people forget this, Kevin and Russ played 8 seasons together.
Right.
8 seasons?
8.
And I do remember one game that Serge had in that 2012 playoff run because they were playing my Spurs in the conference finals, and it was the turning point game 4 because the Spurs won the first 2 at home. Then we get to the Thunder won the first game back in Oklahoma City, so now it's still 2-1 Spurs. So now it's a if you lose this game, you could be sunk. And what does Serge do in that game? He goes 11 of 11, and there were jump shots.
Yes.
For 26 points, he made 4 free throws, and it was 109-103 Thunder at home. And that was really the end of those Spurs because then they just got wiped out. And James did a lot of the damage to end that series quickly. But the point was, if you think back of Serge, he averaged 10 points and 6 rebounds that year. Is that going to be the name that pops into your psyche?
I mean, Skip, when you think about it, the teammate that Kevin Durant is most, when you talk about, is Russ. People don't really tell you, yeah, we know you played with Golden State for 3 years, but you had 8. And I know you had great success in Golden State. You won 2 titles in 3 years. You were the finals MVP. But the lion's share of your career thus far, you've been in the league 14 years. More than half of those played in OKC with Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
How do you totally, I'm talking about, totally forgot his name.
Okay. Do you remember what Russ posted as Kevin was winning his first finals MVP back in, what year was it, 2017? First finals MVP, and Russ posts that he was watching Sister Act 2.
Yes.
Not Sister Act 1.
Yes.
2.
Right.
You don't think Kevin took note?
And Skip, this is what we do know. We hear about people, guys leaving, and they have somewhat of a contentious relationship. They'll always put on, oh, you know, we see they right before the game, they talking. After the game, they talking and all that. And you say, see, oh, there was never a problem. But there was. There was a problem.
You remember the first time they met after Kevin left? Do you remember how ugly it got?
Yes,
yes. Russ wanted to fight.
Yeah, because Russ was going at it. And Katie was like, bro, this is a regular game.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Skip, was it your guy, Pachulia, set the pick on Russ. And Russ said, I'm going to get his ass back because I don't play that. I don't play that.
Zaza, a cheap shot?
Yeah, a cheap shot.
Yep.
Got him. Skip, just like I said, I have no problem with the list. If he'd have just, Skip, if he'd have said, okay, Kyrie, James Harden, Steph Curry, Russ, Clay, or Draymond, okay, fine. But just the omittance of Russ leads you to pause like, damn. You got a guy that got, 3 straight triple doubles for a season. He's won an MVP. He won the MVP basically the season you left.
Okay. What did we hear and speculate about on this show repeatedly as Kevin left Golden State to go to free agency in Brooklyn? He was at odds with Steph because he'll never unseat Steph as everybody's favorite in Golden State. He is Mr. Warrior, the baby-faced assassin. And he was obviously at odds with Draymond over that incident on the bench in which Draymond reportedly called him the B word. He was at it with Bob Myers over, remember the comment Bob Myers
made? He didn't look happy.
Yeah.
And he said, he didn't look happy to me in this picture.
Okay.
But Skip, the thing, what he didn't understand is that when somebody is homegrown and they're as good as Steph, you're never going to replace that. Skip, you and I both believe that LeBron James is a better player than D. Wade. But D. Wade is Wade County. He was never going to be bigger. He was never going to be bigger. No. KD, you were never going to be bigger than Steph because he was homegrown. He's their guy. Clay, Steph, Draymond, that's them. They grew up when they were terrible.
Okay, but all these conflicts drove Kevin to win back-to-back MVPs.
Yes.
And even yesterday, he got hurt again, and I hope it's for his sake, I'm knocking on wood, that it's just a thigh bruise and he'll be back quickly.
It's frustrating for him, Skip, because it seems like when you get hurt, Skip, it just seems like every time somebody just bumps into you. I've been there. I know what he's going through. To be hurt, and you're like, yeah, I'm back now. And soon as you get back, Skip, he's only playing, what, 19 minutes here, 23 minutes there, 27 minutes. They're trying to, like, gradually build him back in.
4 minutes yesterday.
4 minutes yesterday. He's probably going to miss another, what, 3-4 games, Skip? There's only, what, 15 games left.
And what had he done up to the 4-minute mark that he played?
He was perfect.
He was 3 of 3.
He was perfect.
That's Kevin Durant.
Look, Skip, like I said, it could have been an honest mistake. But I don't know if you honest with yourself and you play 8 years with a guy, Skip, I don't know how you omit him off a list of your best teammates that you played with. First of all, I don't even know what I get it, Skip. Look, there are great players and there's friends. I got friends that I'm not going to put them on, even though we're good friends. I'm not putting them on the list of best players that I played with.
You would.
I mean, I get Serge as your friend, but Serge is not a better player than Draymond. He's not. I don't care how you look at it.
I don't know. Serge is pretty good.
Skip, the man was Defensive Player of the Year.
I got it.
He's really the driving force.
Yep.
Now, he's not going to score a whole bunch of points. I think he's going to average more assists than points this year, which is not normal. But, Skip,
Bottom line, Kevin's psyche took over and spoke for him. And he didn't mean to say it because his deepest...
Right.
You know, it just took over and blurted out the wrong name.
Skip, how about if you do it like this, Skip? In no particular order. Kyrie, James Harden, Steph Curry, Russ, Clay. In no particular order. How about you do it like that? In that way, but you just to totally omit Russ? I mean, Russ is not a guy. Skip, and plus, you see what the guy's doing now. Even though he's not your teammate, you see what he's doing now. So even if you didn't think that much, you're like, well, hold on. The guy's averaging a triple-double right now. You got 25 triple-doubles. It's like 7 games in a row. And he just missed one the other night, Skip, with nine assists. I was like, okay.
No mercy. Well, guys, Trevor Lawrence took to Twitter to clarify comments he made to Sports Illustrated about not playing with a chip on his shoulder. The QB said, quote, I am internally motivated. I love football as much or more than anyone. It is a huge priority in my life. Obviously, I am driven to be the best I can be and to maximize my potential and to win. I have a lot of confidence in my work ethic. I love to grind to chase my goals. So some strong comments there. Shannon, did you like his explanation?
You know, Skip, there's nothing he can do to take back what he's already said. That's why I said you got to be very careful. Words spoken and deeds done. Skip, hold on. His dad, this is what his dad said. Now, Skip, don't you think a dad knows his son? You would think a dad would know his 21-year-old son. His dad said he's not award-driven. He's not. I want to win a Super Bowl at all costs. His high school coach said there's no doubt about it with who he is as a person. He could walk away from it tomorrow and be fine. That's what those are people. His wife said something to there's more to life than football. I would think she would know it. So now, when Tom Brady's dad speak, Tom Brady Sr. speak, we're like, that's coming from Tom. Archie Manning speak.
By the way, what has the father repeatedly said? They're going to have to drag Tom off the field in a straitjacket.
Yes.
In a straitjacket.
And he also said that Tommy would like to have a better relationship with Coach Belichick. Tom didn't say that. But we believe that it came from who, Skip?
Yep. Well, you know it did.
Yeah, of course it did.
Okay.
If Archie Manning would have said something about Peyton and Eli while they were playing, he's just making this up? Ooh, Skip, I could just imagine. Can you imagine if Justin Fields had said this? What do you think would happen, Skip?
I'm glad you brought that up.
He'd have been a free agent
last night.
He'd have been a free agent. Ain't no way he'd go to the first round and say that football is not the end-all, be-all. Now, he's going to a coach that burned himself out at 2 locations because winning was the only thing that mattered.
Agreed.
He burned himself.
And that's a great point.
I don't know how this going to work.
And by the way, I love Urban for that.
Yes.
I love, because that's how you have to be at the college and pro level.
Let me tell you, as a player, Skip, playing 14 years in the league. Now, the quarterback's supposed to be the leader. That's not necessarily true. But this guy's coming in and
if you're the number one overall, you better be that guy, right? You better take over the team.
So how you expect me to give you everything I got?
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be the end-all, be-all. I play a team sport. And the ultimate goal is at the end of the year, somebody's got to win the team goal, which is the Super Bowl, the Lombardi.
Right.
If that ain't that important to him, why the hell should it be important to me? Y'all paying him a ton of money. He the face of the franchise, and it's not that important to him. Why should it be more important to me than it is to him?
Yep. And by the way, when you did win your Super Bowl in Baltimore, you won it with, obviously,
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer's your quarterback, and he was was he number one overall?
No, he was fourth pick in the draft.
Yeah, okay. But my point is, he had bounced around by then to the point that he was not the leader of your team because he had become kind of a journeyman quarterback.
But Skip, the thing was is that we knew football was the most important thing to Trent.
Oh, absolutely. He lives it and breathes it.
I've been with a guy, John. What makes quarterback the really good ones? Tom, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. Is that the most important thing is football. They sacrifice an awful lot. Skip, you're gonna miss recitals. You're going to miss some graduation. You're going to miss some soccer games, some baseball games, some football games. You're going to miss that. Because that game, playing that position, to be great at it, requires a lot. Skip, I don't know how you get this back. His dad said, Skip, ain't nobody asking. You could have lied and said, oh, man, Trevor is so motivated. Football is the only thing. But no, he spoke the truth. Dad ain't going to lie. Say, no, Super Bowl ain't win the Super Bowl. That ain't no burning desire for him. And he realized how much flack he caught for it. He tried to go back and try to put the fire out, but it had gotten too big. He can't put it out now, Skip. He can't put it out. So good luck, Jacksonville, because a coach that burns the midnight oil to his own detriment, to his own health,
to his family's detriment,
to a guy coming in that. If we win, we win. If we lose, okay, well, we go. The sun gonna rise tomorrow. I don't know how that works, Skip.
I don't either. And his attempts on Twitter to put this in perspective, to me, only made it worse. Because if you're that comfortable in your own skin, as he expressed in the Sports Illustrated article, just let it go and live with it.
Let it with it.
He has lived with it up to now. He's known little to no adversity, but even after they got blown off the field by Ohio State last year, he's quoted in the Sports Illustrated article as saying it didn't really bother him. He did all he could do.
Not anymore than that.
You just need more. And even if I go back to the article by Michael Rosenberg, which was a terrific article, I know Michael from way back at the Chicago Tribune. He did a great job with this, but one quote from Trevor, maybe the first key quote is, "It's hard to explain because I want people to know that I'm passionate about what I do, and it's really important to me, but I don't have this huge chip on my shoulder." Well, it's not that you have to have a huge chip like 199th Tom Brady did draft 6th round.
You're right.
It's just, it's obsession. It's burning desire to be the best. And he is quoted as saying, he told his high school coach, I don't have any goals. I just want to be the best to ever do it. And I get that. Okay, that's fine. Good.
So you didn't want to care about winning the state championship?
It came so naturally and so easily to him at every level that he has not known the kind of adversity he's about to know right between the eyes.
Right.
This league, as you know better than anybody, will humble you.
Yes.
They will level your playing field. It is hard. It is cutthroat. It is dog eat dog. You and now your new wife, you can't say there's more to life than football, because for a while there can't be more to life.
No.
There has to be football only, and you need to maximize your time with football or it will eat you alive.
Skip, there might be more to life than football to you, but there's about 1,300 guys in the league that football is their life.
Yeah.
And you're trying to take food off their table, so guess what they're going to do? They're going to come get you.
It even points out that at this point, Marissa's fiance, who they just got married a week ago, but it points out that she was a Division II soccer player and that she's more competitive than he is. Okay, Can you do it just on God-given ability? Because he's got all kinds of, there's no doubt about his abilities.
Skip, I've played with some great players. I've been around great players, and I've read books about what it takes to be great. Not just sports, but in business or an actor, whatever. Skip, they said you find something that you're passionate about, and you go all in with that, and it becomes very easy. But there is an end in sight. Skip, when you play a team sport or you play an individual sport, Skip, you can't say, well, I just want to be the best I can possibly be. There has to be goals, so you just want to be the best you can possibly be. So if you're a golfer, you don't care nothing about Augusta. You don't care nothing about the PGA or the British or the U.S. Open. If you play tennis, you don't care nothing about the slams. Really? You play football, Skip, this is it. It ain't just about being number 1 overall draft pick. Now, maybe that was his goal, okay. But no, Skip, the journey is just, you think the journey ends, and that's what I told Devontae Smith. I had him on my podcast. I said, your journey is just starting now. Your journey wasn't just to get drafted in the NFL.
And by the way, Devontae, nothing you did last year for Alabama counts anymore.
No.
Nothing.
No.
You're starting from scratch.
Yes. You got a blank sheet. Blank sheet. Now, what you going to paint on it? Now, what he started drawing on his sheet is that, oh, well, you know, hey, Skip, if we win, you know, okay. Skip, it got to hurt. Like I said, the grace that I know, Skip, losing hurts more than winning feels good. And if you keep that approach, you'll do everything that you possibly can not to have that pain. Because that's how I approach this, Skip, and it bothered me. We lost the game and see guys keying. What the hell funny? Ain't nothing funny. What you laughing for? And to hear him, Skip, that's my court. Look, John and I would have had a problem. And he'll tell you, he'll tell you, right? If you go ask John, if you'd have said what Trevor Lawrence said, and that had got back to Shannon Sharpe, do you believe you would have had a problem with him? He would tell you, absolutely. I had a problem with anybody. I invest too much in this, Skip. That's why it bothered me when guys were late, Skip. Just being late to a meeting or practice or walkthrough, it bothered me. Why the hell is your time more important than mine? I got here. So you mean to tell me you're not willing to go all in? There are more important things? I get it, Skip. I get life and all that. But football is life. You chose this. And I refuse to be saddled with a guy that some things are more important than football. I need you to be all in. Give me all in. Give me all in and get all out.
I loved your point about Justin Fields. If he said anything remotely like this, he would be doomed and damned in this draft. It would just be, he would fall.
That man ain't thrown he ain't thrown a pass since January in a real game, and he dropping. Can you imagine if he said this is not, if his coach would have said this, but this what, just like Justin Fields in high school. Now, if you're not going to believe what the coaches say, why the hell y'all go interview him? Because that's what they always do, Skip. They go interview the college coach. They go interview the high school coach. But now we're not going to believe what the high school and the college and the high school coaches say. We're not going to believe what the parents say. So, okay, so I don't interview him anymore.
And yet, I mentioned to you the other day, I watched a piece on ESPN about Trey Lance and was pleasantly surprised to hear that in his redshirt freshman year at North Dakota State, after he was overlooked by the University of Minnesota, who wanted him to play safety or linebacker.
Right.
A friend called him and said, what are you doing? It was the offseason. He was breaking down NFL defensive tape, trying to learn how you do it at the highest level.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take that to my bank. And if you want to look at just raw talent, I think Trey Lance is right there with Trevor Lawrence. To my eye, again, it's North Dakota State versus Clemson at the highest level.
Right.
I got that.
Right.
But you want to talk about being surrounded by talent? Trevor was surrounded by talent.
Clemson.
And one of the best coaching staffs in college football.
Absolutely.
So it came fairly easily.
Right.
It will not come easily anymore. Sorry.
Man, I've never heard. I mean, you can see guys' actions, but I've never heard a guy verbalize it like he did, that it's not the end-all, be-all. That, hey, and for a coach, go back, William Hall was my coach, Coach Hall. Go back and ask him how motivated I was.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do, Skip. He coached me, coached my brother, coached my mom. My high school, my college coach was alive. Skip, for them to say that, Skip, they know, Skip, trust me. They've been around this man. His dad has been around him longer than anybody. I would think parents, that's one thing you can say, Skip. Parents know their kids. Now, you ask anybody that got kids, they know their kids. They know what they will do. They know what they'll say.
Yep.
His dad spoke.
So those fans are so starved in Jacksonville that they raised via the internet $11,200 to buy him a wedding gift, which they could say he could donate to charity, which is great.
Right.
And then he responded by saying, "Okay, I donate." I'm showing you how fervently they want him to be Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, right? And then he responded by saying, "Okay, let me give to charities in Jacksonville $20,000." Well, I love it when athletes donate to charity. I don't always love it when they post about what they're donating. It undercuts it a little bit. It makes you wonder about the
motive behind it.
What's the motive? Do you need a little positive PR in Jacksonville? $20,000. He's about to make $25 million in signing bonus. If we stay on the trajectory, Kyler, Joe Burrow here, it'll be right around a little over $25 million. Well, with that comes huge expectation, especially in Jacksonville. So
the expectation is always there if you're the #1 overall pick, but it gets amplified if you're a quarterback. Because you're the guy that's going to touch the ball on every possession, Skip. You are now the face. You're the foundational piece of that team that's starving.
Good luck.
Good luck.
The dynamic between he and Urban Meyer is one I'll be watching closely because I know we've been around Urban, but covering him as a sideline reporter for the last couple of years when he was still at Ohio State, the intensity of covering Urban and going up to interview him before a game, guys, I can't even explain it. He was my best friend after they would win. But in those moments leading up to a game, you can feel the energy and just his competitiveness. But I'm very intrigued by that dynamic. I appreciate your thoughts there. We're moving on, switching gears to this, guys. Stan Van Gundy was riled up after losing to the Knicks in overtime yesterday. The Pelicans led by 3 with 7.8 seconds left, seconds in regulation. Didn't foul, but instead allowed the Knicks to tie it with a three-pointer as Lonzo Ball left his man. So Van Gundy didn't hold back after the game. Take a listen.
Tonight's simple. Nobody had to make a play. You know, you didn't have to make a play, make a shot, make a pass. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to do anything.
And you
just had to do what the hell you were supposed to do. Today, simple. High school guys could have executed down the stretch. The 7.8 seconds, high school guys could have done what they were supposed to do.
Shannon, do you like, love, or hate the way he criticized his team?
I love it, Skip. It's simple. Eric Bledsoe, once Derrick Rose turned the corner, foul him. Lonzo, why do you care if Bledsoe already made a mistake? Lonzo, don't you exacerbate it by coming off your guy. Who cares? Skip, this is the play you saw last year with LeBron. You like LeBron go dribble out the clock. Did LeBron shoot it? Why you gonna shoot it?
In fact, I thought of that last night. I agree.
The only thing that hurts you is a 3. Who cares if Derrick Rose can do a 720 dunk? He's only getting 2 points. Why would first of all, Zoe, you should be plastered to Bullock because he's really the only guy, the guy that can really hurt you. So just be plastered. Don't get caught in between. Just be plastered to him. So in 7.8 seconds, you make 2 mistakes that cost you the game. Eric Bledsoe doesn't foul. Lonzo Ball get caught in between. Skip, this is why a lot of veteran players don't like playing with younger players. Because in the playoff game, that's a playoff loss.
I agree.
You lost momentum. You had an opportunity to win a game on the road, Skip. And because you made 2 mistakes that should not have been made, we're going to foul the guy. We're not going to give up a 3. And you compound it. And then how well can you function under pressure? Skip don't tell me anything about the first quarter. Second. I need 10 seconds, 15, a minute. Can you still function like it was the first 2 minutes of the ball game? The really great ones, they can do that. It's second nature. Oh, you want us to foul? Okay, we're going to foul. If you look at Coach Belichick's team, Skip, what they do, they never make those mistakes in those moments. If a guy's supposed to be outside leverage, he's outside leverage. He's supposed to be inside leverage. Malcolm Butler is a prime example. Now, when they get in this formation, down in distance, Skip, what are they going to do? They're going to run the pick play. You drive. If they run the fade from this position, they got us. But don't you let them throw that under route. Got you, Coach. Stan Van Gundy tell the guys, look here, we're going to foul, and if we can't get the foul, we're not giving up the 3. And what do? Not only do they not foul, Lonzo got caught in between, they get up a 3, and then they get blown out in overtime.
Yep.
Stan Van Gundy is absolutely right. You got to make those plays, and that's the difference. Skip, they got 2 All-Stars. First of all, they shouldn't even be in this position to begin with. Try to get into this playing game with 2 All-Stars. Skip, they're too good, but that's the reason why. It's the mistakes on the defensive end that's killing them.
Okay. In the little picture, I agree with everything you just said, but I'm going to go bigger picture here.
Okay.
Eric Bledsoe, in the second half yesterday, had scored 20 points. He had just made 2 free throws with 1:48 left that put them up
3.
6.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're talking about
Right? Up 6 with 1:48 left.
Yes.
Yet Eric Bledsoe readily admitted after the game, I wasn't paying attention and, quote, I had a lack of focus. I believe he wasn't paying attention in the sideline huddle in which Stan Van Gundy said, we got to foul him.
Right.
We have a foul to give. You just foul him immediately.
Right.
Now, that wouldn't have maybe won the game because they'd still have some more seconds
Yeah,
to
but
get a
now
shot
we turn
off.
it into a free throw.
Okay. Lonzo Ball had a bad game yesterday, but he's had a lot of good ones recently.
Leading up,
And that in the throes of maybe not being traded at the trade deadline, and rumors still persist or speculation still persists that he could be a sign and trade out of New Orleans sooner than later.
Right.
Lonzo Ball has a high basketball IQ.
Right.
Lonzo Ball is one of the better defensive players, especially on the perimeter. Well, heck, anywhere, because he's 6 feet 7 inches tall. He's one of the better defensive players in the league. You don't think he knows full well you can't leave Bullock in the corner? He knows it. He has lost focus and lost some heart because I believe they are quitting on this coach. I first guessed this when they hired him. I told you, Stan Van Gundy, I'm not a Stan Van fan.
Right.
I'm sorry. I liked him a lot as a commentator. I love his brother Jeff as a commentator. I just don't love Stan as a coach. He's there's an old term called fuss budget. That's what he is. He's a fuss budget. He's just a whiny, naggy
He's
sort
looking for a reason.
and it's just fingernails on a chalkboard for these younger players. Alvin Gentry was like a father figure to them. And I thought he at least had them going in the right direction.
Right.
And I would take Alvin over Stan Van any day or any night. Because, Shannon, look what is happening here right before your very eyes. The New Orleans Pelicans, they're loaded with star power.
Yeah.
You just see it. Zion has emerged as a force in this league. What do you have, 34?
He had 34. 34, 9, and 5.
5 assists for the big man. Okay. Here's the stat that you need to take to the bank. The Pelicans have lost 13 games while holding double-digit leads. That leads the NBA by far. 13 times they've been up double digits during a game and lost it. 7 of those times have occurred in second halves. That also by far leads the NBA in blown leads. All they do is blow leads. They've had a couple of comebacks, too, because they show you they can flex their might. And yet yesterday, in the first half, they give up a 17-2 run. Now, I want to take nothing away from the Knicks. They've won 6 in a row for the first time in 7 years. They got it going. God bless them. It's fun to watch because it's obviously the Knicks fans have been so starved for so long. Is it going to cost them a draft pick? I just like it that he's building a winning culture now.
Yes.
Okay. So they give up a 17-2 run. They're down 13.5. But what do they do in the third quarter? They say, watch this. At MSG, they win the third quarter 35-22. That is a knockout punch, you would think, except that only tied the game. Then they go up 7 with 3:44 left. I just told you they're up 6 with 1:48 left. You got to close that deal, but they close no deals. It feels like they get right to the precipice of a nice comeback, and they're like, we don't want to win for that guy. If we win this game, he may be here next year.
Skip, you can't fire the man. The man signed a 5-year deal. You can't fire him after 1 year, can you?
I don't know. In this day and age, in this NBA, they might try to get him fired.
But what have you and I talked about on this show ad nauseum about the Pelicans' problems? They don't play defense. That's what happens when you get a double digit.
And that's supposed to be Stan Van's calling card,
yeah.
right?
Skip, And your boy Zion, yeah, he had big numbers, but Skip, he was minus 13.
Yeah.
I mean, he got to slow Julius Randle. Now, Julius Randle is on the tear.
He was taking him a lot solo.
Yes.
Julius Randle is playing all-star basketball. He's all-star.
Right. It was a battle of the lefties.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. But Julius is a load.
Boy, he took him off the dribble a couple times with step-back jumpers, like mid-ranges.
He's in his bag right now. But, Skip, you got to be able to execute down the stretch. Skip, you can't lose this game. Skip, you can't lose. Look, you can't lose this game in this fashion. Like you said, you're up 6 with 148. Skip, 7.8 seconds. And I got a 3-point lead. I'm not losing this game unless somebody if they pull off a Reggie Miller type situation or a Tracy McGrady, Skip, somebody go hot and they get 11 points.
That was his point after the game. It wasn't like we got beat. We just beat ourselves.
Yes. That's all you got to do, Skip. Just foul the guy.
Okay. Now, again, that doesn't ensure that doesn't guarantee victory.
But what they did yesterday guarantees a loss.
I agree. No, I agree.
You're right. It doesn't guarantee a victory, but that guarantees a loss.
I watch New Orleans just about every dribble of every game because, to me, they're must-see TV because I just like to watch Zion operate.
Right.
And the more they let him bring the ball up and sort of initiate the attack,
yes,
the more fun it gets to watch because he can distribute at the highest level. And he is already masterful at age 20 at avoiding the charges. You know, like he can still weave through and then power up.
And Skip, I don't know if you noticed it, but he's added that little 15-foot, a little 10, 12, 15-foot of turnaround. Now, he missed it yesterday. He hit one a couple of days ago, but I'm starting to see that, whereas before his first year, he wouldn't even attempt that shot.
Yep.
So now he's getting more comfortable even shooting that shot.
Yep.
So, but Skip, you're going to have to play a little defense. I'm not, Skip, you don't need to be David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon. You don't need to Scottie Pippen, but you got to play some defense. You can't let the guy, you can't go tit for tat. Because Julius Randle got to go. Julius had 0 points in the first quarter. Then he gets 16.
Yep.
Well, these guys are too good. You let them get a rhythm. You got hell on your hand for the rest of the game now.
Hey, Derrick Rose is still playing. He's coming off the bench.
He is.
Coming off the bench, playing at a high level. He got 23 yesterday. He hurt them.
Yeah.
And he made the play of plays to get loose in the middle and then kick it.
He can still get to the basket.
Yep.
He can still finish. But, Skip, why not just foul him?
Okay,
Stay
well,
inside, foul him.
They're quitting on this coach. It's obvious to me right before your very eyes, and it's been going on all year long. He is not pushing the right psychological buttons. They are not motivated by what he says, and I think to the point where he talks so much in the sideline huddles. You've had coaches like this where you just tune it out after a while. It just becomes noise to you. Just tune it out and kind of look around. You got a few people.
I get where they tuned out the part that he said, foul, and don't give up a three. They tuned that part out.
They tuned it out. Trust me, they tuned it out. Didn't even think about it. Don't really care about it. I don't think any of them lost any sleep about it. And David Griffin hired him, and now we'll see what David Griffin decides to do with Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah, but I don't
You
know.
gonna dig in?
I mean, I know Miss Benson, Gail Benson, she owns the team as well as the Saints. Skip, that's a lot of money. I mean, you probably giving Stan 5 years. You going to let the man go and eat $20 million, $25 million?
Something is not right with this team.
Well, damn, Skip, they had Alvin Gentry. They wasn't playing, now, maybe Alvin, because Zion was kind of injured, Skip, and he was on a minutes restriction. Zion played 41 minutes yesterday, including the overtime, so he played what?
Seriously, if Alvin were the coach this year, want to bet they'd be 5 or 6 games better?
You might be right.
Yep.
Because Zion played 42 of the 53 minutes. Mm-hmm. So that's a positive. But I really expected them to be better because I think you had them as a playoff team, like an 8 seed at worst.
Well, how can they not be with this kind of talent? Now, Josh Hart's out right now. He tore a ligament in his thumb, so that hurts a little bit.
You still got 2 All-Stars.
You got 2 All-Stars. You got the equivalent of 3 All-Stars.
Yeah.
No mercy. Look at this, guys. One NFL insider is very confident who the 49ers will not be taking with the number 3 overall pick, saying that San Francisco will take either Mac Jones or Trey Lance, but definitely not Justin Fields, despite Kyle Shanahan attending the Ohio State quarterback's second pro day. So, Shannon, it's always important we ask you. You played for Mike Shanahan, who's heavily involved with Kyle and the 49ers. You know the family so well. Who do you think they'll go with?
Mac Jones has everything the Shanahans like. He's more than athletic enough. He doesn't have the athleticism of a Justin Fields or Trey Lance. but I believe he has better accuracy than both of those guys. So he's more than athletic enough to run the West Coast system. The run game is very prominent, Skip. They do a lot of play action. They do a lot of boots off what they do in the run game.
Yep.
He won an MVP. Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator, in which Matt Ryan won the MVP. Matt Jones is more athletic than Matt Ryan. So if Matt Ryan can win an MVP in this system, I know Mac Jones can do well in this system. Now, it's being reported, Skip, that Trey Lance is working out with a guy now that was coached by Kyle Shanahan. And what they're going through are the exact same plays in which Kyle is going to want to see him replicate on his pro day. Kyle's guy's name is John Beck, went to BYU.
He played, yeah.
Coached him in, if I'm not mistaken, coached him in Washington.
Yep.
Now, Kyle has a lot of confidence in John Beck. And he says, okay, put him through this, and I'm going to take, so what do you think about it? It would be like me, Skip. If Mike were to say, Shannon, I'm going to send you some tape. I want you to take a look at this tight end and give me your honest opinion what you think. Mike's going to take my opinion because I played. He trusts that I'm going to be honest with him. Mike, great. Can drop his hip, can move. Hand placement, foot placement in the run game. But you can teach that, Mike. But I like him. I like everything about him in the passing, in the receiving game. Okay. That's what Kyle Shanahan is doing. Says, okay, the plays that we're going to ask you to learn over the next couple of days is going to be what you're going to run in our system.
Yep.
Let's see how well he can replicate what we've taught him in 2 weeks. Because, Skip, the one thing about a quarterback, you got to be able to retain information. Because each week is something different, but you also need to retain the information that you received from the week before. So we're going to learn a lot. He goes out there after having this opportunity to work with John Beck for 2 weeks. Would I be surprised if Trey Lance doesn't jump? But he's an unknown, right, Skip, the level of competition. And he missed last year, so Skip, there's not a whole lot.
Like one game.
Played one game, so there's not a lot. But I like Mac Jones. But if somebody told me after Trey Lance has his pro day and he lights it up, they're going to take Trey Lance. I'm not going to be surprised. But Mac Jones is everything Kyle would need to run this offense.
A young man who was on nobody's radar a year ago.
He's Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Joe Burrow was on nobody. Joe Burrow was one of the 5th or 6th round picks, Skip. Has arguably the greatest season for a quarterback in NCAA history, and he goes from a 5th rounder to the first pick in the entire draft.
Okay, I'm going to reiterate to you what I told you about Mike and Kyle Shanahan. The first day they traded, they vaulted, catapulted up to the 3rd overall pick by giving the next 2 years first-round picks. Basically, that's what you had to spend to go up that high. From what, 12?
12 to 3.
Whew. What got me about it was they weren't going from 12 to 2.
Right.
And 2 needs a quarterback because 2 is the New York Jets.
Right.
The Jets, to me, are reeling. They're spinning. They're desperate. They tried Sam Darnold, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. Maybe it's their fault. Maybe it's his. I wasn't a big fan going into the draft. But now you better get this one correct.
Yeah.
And the media narrative so far that is amusing me the most is that everybody just makes it a foregone conclusion that the Jets have written, engraved in stone, Zach Wilson. His name is engraved.
Right.
They've already got a plate on above his locker, Zach Wilson, right? I don't know why that has to be. I don't know why they wouldn't go to the bitter end, to the last second, thinking about, are we right about this? I don't know why you wouldn't continue to do your research.
Right.
And if Trey Lance is rising, if we get more and more reports about Trey Lance to San Francisco, why wouldn't the Jets second guess Zach Wilson? Think about their worst nightmare. The Jets would be if they sat back and had to watch the next 3 or 4 years, Trey Lance just take over this draft, that he would be the pick in this draft, even beyond Trevor Lawrence. Whoa. So to me, you can't carve that. You can't even put it in ink. You better put it in pencil. And that's why the Shanahans, that maybe their intel, maybe their reconnaissance on having a source inside the Jets tell them it's a done deal, Zach Wilson. You better be right about that. you better be right on point with your information so much that you can trust it all the way up to the last second before this.
Well, Skip, Geno Smith messed it up for the brother with the Jets. Geno, after what he pulled with the Jets, Skip, they said, "Nah, we good."
But I don't think that.
No, I know. But no, seriously, Skip. I think the thing is that there's a reason why Kyle Shanahan sent these plays to John Beck and asked him to work out with his kid for 2 weeks. There's a reason why he did that.
We also see a lot of smoke screens right now.
Yes.
They're trying to smoke screen the Jets into taking Trey Lance. I have no idea.
No.
But the point is, I'm going to say this again about Zach Wilson. I liked what I saw in bits and pieces. I did not watch him closely until the Coastal Carolina game. Again, they got thrown into it. It was a COVID game, neutral site, South Carolina. He didn't play very well by his standards. He is a high-wire act. He's got a little Favre in him. He will try things. He's fun to watch. He's got a little Mahomes going. He's got a live arm, and he is athletic, and he is an escape artist. And yet he had 2 big injuries and surgeries, one on his shoulder and one on his wrist, while at BYU. So if he's going to be a daredevil in pro football, is he going to be able to stay healthy? No,
you cannot. You can't be no daredevil. You can't roll the dice like that. They too big. And ask Kyler. Kyler ain't gonna learn that, you know what, I got to get down even sooner. He does a great job in the pocket, Skip. He doesn't take any shots, but he's gonna have to learn to get down even sooner once he escapes the pocket. But Skip, if what Lombardi is saying is true, that it's gonna be Mac Jones or Trey Lance, it's telling me that Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, John Lynch doesn't have that grade on Justin Fields as they have on the other 2 guys. That's what that tells me, because he's in play. We don't believe that Justin Fields is going to Jacksonville or he's going to the Jets. So therefore, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance are all in play at the 3rd. Now he says, I guarantee, he pulled a Joe Namath, basically guaranteeing that he's not going 3rd to the 49ers.
He did. I told you last week, the more I watch the highlights, and all I know are the highlights of Trey Lance at North Dakota State, the more I love him. I'm starting to think he's right there, 1A with Trevor Lawrence in ability, in arm strength, obviously in athletic ability.
Oh, yeah, he's above.
And when you look at the year before.
And that, Skip, like I said, FCS, Skip, I saw him in a national championship game. And then, after the game, he's playing, and guys talking about this guy's going to be a first-round pick. I'm like, well, damn, he's just a freshman. Y'all, so you saw what he did in that championship game.
He was a redshirt freshman.
He was spectacular.
Spectacular. That year, he threw 28 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. I've never heard of that before.
But he had over 1,000 yards rushing, too.
1,100 yards rushing. Wow. And they went 16-0. So he threw 0 interceptions and lost 0 games, albeit at FCS level. We get that. And then he came back last year, and in that one game, they threw it together against Central Arkansas. I get it, Central Arkansas, and he didn't throw it very well. He finally threw 1 interception, but he ran it 15 times for 143 yards. Do I think he's Cam Newton, MVP Cam? I can't go that far, but I see explosive ability. And you want chip on your shoulder, while the guy at the top of the draft says he has no chip on his shoulder. This kid has the biggest chip on his shoulder to me. And I love what he's made of, because I watched the piece on ESPN. I love the intangibles. I love the leadership. I love the burning desire. This was a kid who got snubbed by the University of Minnesota, who said, you're a safety or a linebacker at best. And he went to North Dakota State and said, watch this.
Skip, I think when evaluators, they're evaluating guys at the lower levels, and it says, okay, the talent level is not what it is at D1. And you're more talented than these guys. Did you dominate? Skip, he dominated.
He did.
It was only for 1 year, but he dominated.
Is he undersized? No, he's 6'4", 224.
No, he's proto-sized.
And again, Trevor Lawrence is almost 6'6", but he's only 213, so he's willowy still.
This guy's, and Skip, he's 21 years of age. As he gets older, he'll get a little, he'll add, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, so he could easily be 235, 240, which would be ideal size to be able to take the rigors. Because if you need a little padding. I know you don't think, you probably didn't get hit much in college, But the guy's going to get you in the league. And they fall on you, and they put those helmets in your back, it's going to hurt. So you need a little cushion.
So in the end, if the Shanahans have been sitting on Trey Lance all along, I'm going to sit back and say, bingo, because that means it may not happen the next year, but in a couple of years, they are going to be a force in the NFC.
So what do they? So you believe if they take Trey Lance at 3, what do they do with Jimmy G? You believe they keep Jimmy G for 1 year?
They keep saying they would like him to be the bridge if he's a lot of money
Coach
for a
Belichick,
bridge.
give us a little something, break us off. I tell you know what, Coach? You let us have him for a second rounder, we'll flip it back to you for a second
Well,
round.
is Coach Belichick going to be able to trade up and land Justin Fields?
You won't have to trade up. We'll give you Jimmy G.
Oh.
You wanted Jimmy G.
Well, that's what he wanted. I'd say good luck to you, Coach Belichick.
Yeah, we should let you have Jimmy G. Give us a second rounder.
All right, great. You got it.
All right,
Done.
we're going to be watching what happens in Fargo today. Just a small-town kid from Marshall, Minnesota. Skip, I watched that as well, and hearing his mom and dad talk about him, his brother, chip on shoulder is an understatement, and I think that is saying something about his potential.
No mercy.
Less than a month left of the NBA regular season, and the MVP race is getting tight. Current betting favorite, Nikola Jokic, dropped 29 points and 16 rebounds in a 29-point win against the Rockets over the weekend. Joel Embiid continues to make a late-season push for the award with his own 36-point, 14-rebound game and a big win over the Clippers. So, Shannon, both of these guys' teams have 16 games to go. So who wins the MVP?
Skip, I'm going to ride with Yoke. I think the thing, and Joel has got himself back into it because of all the other MVP candidates, Skip, what Joel did is got his injury out the way early, Skip, so he got an opportunity to come back. James Harden, Giannis was nicked, who just got back. LeBron, not Dame Lillard is out with an injury. KD got nicked again with an injury. So basically, Skip, is going to come to the basically last two standing. And I believe it's a two-man race now.
Yep.
I think our Fox bet has it Yoke over, and I think another book, a gambling site, has Yoke right now over Embiid. But it's really, really close because they're really, really close in numbers. Joel Embiid is 30 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Jokic is 26 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. PER, Joel Embiid is 31.43. Jokic is 31.40. That's how close it is.
And that's first and second.
First and second. Now, Joel Embiid, only Luka and Trae Young have a higher usage rate than Joel. Jokic is 19th in usage. So he doesn't have the ball nearly as much, but he's equally as effective. In the games in which Joel Embiid hadn't played, his teams are 9-9. But Skip, I just don't know how a guy that's missed 18 games thus far, that's if he doesn't miss another one, which is 25% of the games. I just don't know if the voters are going to be receptive to that, considering Yoke hasn't missed any games, and if they're going to stay right where they are or move up, they're going to have to do it without Jamal Murray. And so Yoke has a clearer path to winning this award than I believe Joel Embiid. But it's neck and neck, but I'm going to give him a slight edge to Nikola Jokic.
Okay. I hear everything you just said, but I'm going to remind you, in the big picture, I've told you from the start, I want Embiid over Jokic.
Okay.
In the smaller picture, the one-season picture, right here, right now, I still think Embiid is starting to pull away from the Joker in MVP, and I take nothing away from what he's done for Denver, because you read those numbers. They're extraordinary.
It is. A big man might add a triple-double, Skip.
I mean, he's 8.8 assists. That's what grabs my eye
That's
and
the highest
raises
ever
my
for a center.
eyebrows. Just barely second in PER to Embiid's number 1 in PER. Okay, if you look at team records, obviously Philly is leading the East by a game and a half, and Denver's in 4th in the West. So that's slight edge to Embiid. Now we get to what I think is the deal closer. This is extraordinary to me. Joel Embiid is attempting or averaging 11.8 free throws a game. That's almost 12 free throws a game he's attempting. So that leads the league by far, as do his makes, because he's an 85.5, let's call it 86% free throw shooter. So he's making 10.1 free throws every game. That's his average. Jokic is down at 4.9 free throws a game, so he doesn't power the ball to the rack. He doesn't get to the line. That ranks 36th in the NBA. It's 4.9 free throws a game. Well, So 4.9 to 11.8 free throws, it shows you how powerful, how dominating, how Shaq-like.
Right.
I'm not saying he's Shaquille O'Neal, but every time Joel touches the basketball, it's a foul waiting to happen because he's hard to referee like Shaq.
Right.
Again, not as overpowering and dominating physically as Shaq, but when he turns and ducks that shoulder down,
right.
Man, block charge.
And the thing is, Skip, they're really totally different players. Although both has perimeter games, both can shoot the mid-range, both can shoot the three, both are very good free throw shooters. Skip, Jokic is more finesse. He's more he angles guy. He's looking to pass the ball, things of that nature. Joel Embiid is looking to back you down and either shoot a little turnaround shot over you, or you know what? I'm gonna dunk on you. I'm gonna embarrass you now.
Yeah,
because he's out to send a message that's like because he keeps saying he wants the Defensive Player of the Year award. He wants that MVP because he believes he's earned that award. And it might be a year, Skip, because who's to help this? This is a war of attrition because I don't know if we've ever seen a situation like this before, Skip, where all the major MVP candidates at some point in time, with the exception of one, has missed time due to injury, significant time due to injury.
I got it. I hear you. But in the end, if Joel can play it out, play almost all the remaining games, maybe miss the last one. Let's just say that, hypothetically.
Okay.
Let's say he misses the last game, that would get him to 53 games out of 72.
Right.
To me, that would be enough to seal the deal. 53 of 72. If he wound up with that, it's enough games. Now, Joker's going to play them all.
Yeah, he has to.
Okay.
He has to.
And now he has to.
Right.
Now he has to.
Right.
In the end, the difference psychologically is that Joel Embiid has become the trash-talking spirit of the Sixers. And they've had a little bit of a rebirth under Doc. Doc's doing a great job.
Yes.
You could put him at the top of Coach of the Year.
Right.
Thibodeau would be up there, obviously. But what Doc is doing to transform their mentality, starting with Joel, is extraordinary. But Embiid is the one who gives you nightmares if you have to try to defend him. I don't think anybody lies awake at night thinking about Jokic because it's not, he doesn't scare you. He annoys you with how great he is. Like, he's got all the Euro step, he's got all the pastry and the whipped cream, and all the shots. You say, how does he do that? It looks so awkward and it's so unstoppable. But the other guy is right in your face, flat out, overpowering, unstoppable.
But Skip, Doc doing great in the regular season. We've seen Doc have regular season records.
I got it.
He's going to have to carry this into playoffs now.
He will. And I believe they'll carry it into the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Yeah. But Skip, Joel's going to have to play because you remember the big playoff run they had. He missed a couple of games here and there. He can't do that this time around, Skip. He's going to have to be there for the entirety of it. But like I said, this might be a unique situation, a unique year where the MVP misses this many games because, like I said, when you look at all the other guys and the games that they've missed, Yoke's like, bro, I don't know what I got to do, bro. I'm going to give you 27, 11, and 9.
I got it. So in the end, what astounds me the most about Joel Embiid is not his dominance, not his overpowering physicality. It's his free throw shooting because he leads the league by far in attempted free throws, and he's making 86%. He is the best 7-foot or taller free throw shooter I can ever remember. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody, but hey, 86%.
I mean, y'all can shoot very good, but he didn't shoot that many.
Not that many. Where in clutch situations, I trust him. He'll step right up there and he'll swish too.
Kevin, you make it seem like Dwight Howard shooting them.
No, Yoke can shoot him.
Yeah.
No, he's very good. He's right there with them. Their stats are, except that they're dead even from the free throw line.
Okay? He just doesn't shoot as many.
He just doesn't shoot very many. 4.9 a game versus 11.8 a game. And Joel just loves it. He goes right to the line with confidence and shoots it like somebody I know can't shoot him. Who's that guy?
We're talking about him.
He's out of sight, out of mind.
First of all,
it's that guy, LeBron James.
We would be attempting the most free throws if they gave us the calls that we deserve, but they don't give them to us. You know that, I know that, but we don't complain.
So LeBron James makes 70% of his free throws, and Joel Embiid makes 85.5% of his.
Skip, you see the man on the sideline.
One guy's 7 feet, one guy's 6'9".
Skip, you see the man on the sideline trying to get his ankle strengthen his ankle. That's what he's doing. He ain't bothering nobody. You bring this man into this. This is by Joel Embiid and Yoke.
What he's doing is he's resting. And I co-sign. I co-sign. I say, way to go, LeBron. You needed it, and you got it.
No.
You got your excuse to rest.
Skip, see, I knew you were going to do this.
Donovan Mitchell sprains his ankle significantly the other night, and they said, he'll be back in a week.
Skip, he wrote, Skip, you know good well there's a difference between over and pronating in. You know that, Skip. But why you do that?
6 weeks?
You know that, Skip.
Congratulations.
So let me ask you a question. Did Donovan Mitchell have a high ankle sprain?
I don't know what it was.
You do know what it was. You saw it. You saw it. You saw it.
I don't know, but I don't have the medical report on it. But he'll be back. He'll be fine. LeBron could have been back in a couple of weeks.
No, he couldn't have.
He could have.
No,
You know it, and I know it.
See, I knew you could do that.
Has he ever missed a game with an ankle turn in his life?
You told me that the important thing for him now is to catch Kareem. You think this man wanted to miss 20 games?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
I think somebody read the riot act. Somebody laid down the law. It might have been Jeannie Buss. LeBron, we need you more later.
Jeannie,
take some time off.
Jeannie just said it a couple of months ago that Kareem played until he was like 42. She won't say, I want LeBron as long as he wants to play. That's what Jeannie said.
Yeah.
Don't do this, Skip.
No, it's good. Congratulations.
Yeah, no,
I'm trying to be nice to you.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Because when we can say he took a break, there was nothing wrong with LeBron. I already know it's coming.
It's okay.
You're right.
It gives you a much better chance in the postseason.
I know it's okay, because when we get that trophy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking?
There's a big old roadblock down in the basement.
We get y'all first. We're going to get y'all up first.
Roadblock.
We're going to get y'all first. We're going to be the sixth matchup.
Get it over with.
Get y'all out of the way. Go and get y'all out of the way.
Yeah. We'll get you out of the way. You'll be in the basement before this is over.
No mercy. Aaron Rodgers' 2-week stint as the Jeopardy host has come to an end. There were several memorable moments that revolved around Rodgers and the Packers, and the QB made it clear that hosting the game show would be a dream gig. Rodgers received mostly positive reviews, but so far has not been the consensus favorite of the recent guest hosts. So, Shannon, what shot would you give Rodgers to become the permanent Jeopardy host here?
Skip, I'm a game show guy, Skip. I used to watch game shows. I don't watch them as much as I used to, but I go back to watching game shows as long as I can remember. And the thing is, I don't know if people realize this, Skip, when they hire a game show host, they're not looking to replace him after 5 or 10 years. These guys normally stay on for a very, very long time. Pat Sajak is almost coming up on 40 years of the Wheel of Fortune. And before him, it was Chuck Woolery. And so I remember that, Skip, and Drew Carey took over. He had 14 years. Bob Barker was 35 years before Drew Carey took over for 14 years. So you're looking at 50 years, and you're talking two hosts. Dick Clark, the $10,000 pyramid. He was 25 years. Now Michael Strahan is $100,000. So when they put someone in these spots, Skip, they're looking for them to stay there at least a minimum of 25 years. And Aaron Rodgers would fit that bill because he's plenty young enough. I thought he did a very good job. I believe he's only going to get better. Now, I think this week, our own Joe Buck. Now,
I think it's Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper this week, and then Joe Buck coming up. Yeah. I think guys like that have a decided advantage because they've been in TV for so long. They're used to reading promptly. They're used to, having producers talk in their ear and things of that nature. So they have a decided advantage. But I thought Aaron Rodgers did good. I think he'll get even better. But the question is he going to want this kind of commitment? Skip, this is not like a 2 or 3 year commitment, Skip. You're talking about something that's going to could be in place somewhere between 25 and 40 years. So I think he would do great. But the question is he going to want this? This is going to be a very, very long-term commitment.
So I'm also a game show fan, and I am a Jeopardy fanatic, as you know. Ernestine and I have not missed an episode for 15 years, but we watch them on Friday night, 5 at once, blow through the commercials.
Yeah, you bundle.
Yep, we bundle. And sorry, Ernestine, but I win every game, but that's okay.
Skip, you do realize you just can't blurt out the answer. You got to. That's what you be doing. I know you do.
I blurt
with Ernestine.
I blurt a lot. I blurt a lot on this show. But I told her, you can call her right now and ask her. I had high hopes for Aaron. I thought he would be better than he ultimately was. Last Friday night, I watched the second 5 very carefully. So I watched all 10 episodes that he did over a 2-week period, shot in 3 days. So it's hard to It's hard over 3 days to get a whole lot better because there's not enough time in between.
Right.
It's just bam, 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 bam,
Right.
go, 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 go.
Right.
To the end, he was always a little too self-conscious for me. He was forcing it. He was a little too aware of the camera. Like, hi, I'm the Jeopardy host. Do you love me? I love me. Do you love me? That's how it came across to me to the bitter end.
Skip, he'll loosen up.
It's possible he would. But as you know, with Alex Trebek, the great late Alex Trebek, what did he always say? You have to make the contestants the stars of the show, or it won't work.
Right.
And Aaron had a harder time at that because he's always been in the spotlight.
Yeah, he's always been Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, and he's got some diva in him for the better and for the worse. But you have to have some diva in you to do what he does at this level in the National Football League. So now he's trying to suddenly grasp, what's my persona? Can I be Aaron Rodgers on here, or do I have to be Alex Trebek? And he got caught in the crossfire of that in his psyche. It's hard. And I thought he was a little awkward. Sometimes Alex could be too, with the contestant interviews, because it has to be bang, bang. It has to be quick. It has to be natural. It has to be glib. And that brings me to Joe Buck. As soon as I read the story over the weekend that Joe's in this mix, I said, bingo. I am the biggest Joe Buck fan.
Yeah.
He is so glib, so witty, so natural. He was born to host.
Yeah.
It's just who
he
he
got
is.
range out the yin-yang.
Oh.
He got range. From football to golf to baseball, you name it, he can do it.
It comes so easily, so naturally. He makes me so comfortable.
But Skip, see, that's the thing, though. It's like I said, he has an unfair advantage because he's tagging along with his dad and seeing how it operates and how it goes, and so it doesn't bother him to. He knows what a camera is, but he knows. And when you have a partner, and he and Troy, they're so great together. Is that he gets it, Skip?
He just gets it, and he wants to make Troy the star as he should. And stay mostly out of the way.
He does a great job with I think he when he has when he I forget his partner here at Fox when he's calling baseball. I think John Smoltz said it sometimes.
Yeah, Smoltz, yes.
Skip, he understands that he's a storyteller, and when you tell the story, you make Troy look good, but you also make it about what you're watching on the field. So he'll understand that it's about the three contestants and not about Joe Buck. But Skip, and Joe is great in his own right. Aaron is going to have to learn, I got to be Aaron Rodgers pre-football, pre-Green Bay Packers.
He does.
And once he does that, Skip, he'll be just fine. But it's hard because he's almost been Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packer, as long as he's been Aaron Rodgers, anything else.
Right.
So he'll loosen up. I promise you he'll loosen up.
Obviously, it became very difficult for me to forget that was Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And after a while, you need to.
Yes.
You need to say, this is Jeopardy, right?
Because, Skip, the other guys are coming in. Hell, I didn't know what Pat said when he took over for Chuck Woolery. I was like, this ain't gonna last because I've been watching Chuck Woolery for 20 years and for 10 years. I was a kid, Skip, and I'm like, and now this dude has come up since 1983. Pat Sajak has been the host of Wheel of Fortune. And if I'm not mistaken, Vanna White has been there every step of the way because she might have been there with Chuck Woolery too. So, Skip, you just get to, you forget, like I said, this is a huge commitment. This is not, well, you know what? Quarterback after 10 years, they're looking to, they don't look to replace game show hosts.
So I told you that Mike Richards, who's the executive producer of the show, tried his 2 weeks.
Right.
And he was a finalist with Drew Carey for Price is Right to replace Bob Barker. So he's a host by nature. He's hosted several game shows and other kinds of shows. So the point was, in his 2 weeks, I forgot it was Mike Richards because he just blended right in. It was easy for him and very natural for him. We'll see how Anderson Cooper does, and then we'll see how Joe Buck does.
I think, Skip, to be honest, it would be hard for anybody to get that job if you've already had a job and been on TV before. Because what you fail to realize, I don't remember Pat Sajak. I don't remember him doing anything else. You know, Art Fleming was before Alex Trebek. And you got to go way, way back. But to have an Anderson Cooper, you see him every night on CNN. You see Joe Buck, 200 days a year calling sporting events. So it's kind of...
Alex Trebek had done 2 or 3 other game shows before he came to Jeopardy. Maybe you didn't know him because
but Skip, TV wasn't like it is right now. And now you got a game show network. So it's a different ball game now. But Joe Buck is unfair. Joe, pull out. You should pull out and let Aaron win this.
Are you sure Aaron isn't using this as just a little more leverage against the Packers?
No.
Like a threat? I may just do this.
Hey, you know what his leverage is? When he walk in there and slam that MVP trophy down. That's my leverage, 48-4. What y'all gonna do about that?
They're
Mark Murphy.
Slam down Jordan Love.
Okay.
This is who we drafted in the first round just a year ago. How do you like that?
You know what? Aaron need to go in there with have his agents and give a call. So y'all need to go ahead and move me. I no longer feel welcome. I don't feel loved. And I don't think this relationship is repairable. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, maybe he wants to just full-time it on Jeopardy.
No, he don't want to just just stop doing that. That man wanted to play court. So you want him to walk away from the game after an MVP season.
He's going on 38 years of age.
Tom Brady going on 43.
They used to be old.
Tom Brady going on 44.
Aaron's got a new love in his life. You don't
But I
know.
gotta do
Maybe
it.
he just decides, I've had enough of this football stuff. I want a non-contact sport.
So now he's Trevor Lawrence. Huh? So now football is not the end all be all to him.
No. 1-4 in NFC Championship games.
Well, he got beat, Skip. He got beat. The better team won.
Okay.
I just thought it was nice to see how much he enjoyed it, petitioning for it in so many ways, like on social media, posting all the time about Jeopardy. But how about this? Think about this scenario. If Joe Buck, let's say he gets the gig, right? And he's sitting down with Aaron Rodgers while covering NFL games. Like, how would that dynamic go?
You beat me out for the job. I ain't talking to you.
I'm a big Joe Buck fan. I'm looking forward to watching him, guys.
No mercy.
Only a week after returning from a hamstring injury, Kevin Durant left yesterday's game against the Heat with a thigh contusion in the first quarter. But it was an appearance on a podcast over the weekend that generated even more buzz, where Katie named his top 5 teammates and, you know, all the teammates he's ever played with. So here's the list. Kyrie, Harden, Steph, and Klay were quick to be named. Then Durant went with Serge Ibaka to round out that list. The host pointed out that Russell Westbrook was left off, at which point Katie immediately said that, of course, Russ is on it and that he was, quote, tripping. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is joining us now. Chris, how significant was it that he initially forgot Russ here?
Well, Jen, this is baffling.
That's the word you chose, Chris. Baffling.
I don't know what in the world was going through Kevin Durant's head. He said he forgot. Is that possible? I guess, sure. But if you watch the video of the podcast and don't just read the quote, KD took 14 seconds before he named the 5th teammate. Like, he was thinking hard.
Yes.
And it's hard for me to think KD is that absent-minded. I think KD is very smart. So it looked like he was really thinking, do I really want to say this? You know, do I really want to leave Russ off? It's hard to believe he forgot about him when he took that long to name the 5th guy. And then, on top of that, his 5th guy was Serge Ibaka initially. Serge played with him and Russ. If he had said Draymond Green, it would have been a little easier. It still wouldn't have made sense, but it would have been a little easier to be like, okay, he forgot the OKC guys. But you named somebody that was on the floor with you and Russ. So look, the only other explanation is that maybe he thought it was the 5 best teammates, like guys he enjoyed playing with, you know, and then, you know, so Serge was there. And then when they kind of challenged him on it, maybe he thought, oh, this is about to go viral. I'm about to start a firestorm with Russ. Let me just get rid of this now, clean it up, and say Russ. Let me even put him ahead of Klay. You know?
Like he did him a favor. He did him a favor, put him in front of Klay.
Right. It just seemed like a slight. I mean, that's all there is to it. I know they've kind of made up, and, you know, Russ was going at him with the cupcake stuff for a while. But it just seemed like, I just don't know how in the world you forgot Russell Westbrook.
He didn't.
I'm sorry.
He didn't forget. Like you said, he paused. He thought about it. He was thinking, scouring his mind like, okay, I got Kyrie, James, Steph, Klay, Serge Ibaka. hold on. But, you know, we don't want to call this to attention, you know, but what about Russ? Oh, yeah, man, I'm tripping. Ow! Russ and Serge were drafted the same year. Serge spent the first year in Spain playing. Then he came. Even if, forget it, even if you wanted to say, you know what, I'm gonna name my five top teammates. No particular order, but here they are: Kyrie, Steph, James Harden. But how you forget Russ? And Chris, I don't know if you noticed this, but did you know KD played with 3 MVPs in their prime? Can you name another MVP? Can you name another player that's played alongside 3 other MVPs in their prime? Not LeBron playing inside Shaq in year 19. I'm talking about in his prime. He got 3 of them on his resume. But you don't forget this. I'm sorry, look, I got no problem with his list. That is his list. But to say it was a slip, you just forgot that you played alongside Russ, a guy that you went to an NBA Finals with, a guy that you had a team down 3-1. You had a 73-9 team down 3-1. And when reporters ask you about Clay, about Steph Curry guarding Russ, you put your hand in front and say, I got this, bro. I got this. Big brother gonna take care of you on this one. You forget a guy that won an MVP, that got about to average a triple-double again, and you forget that you played alongside him and he's one of your best teammates? Nah, that was no accident. I don't care what anybody says. I got no problem with his list, but he omitted Russ on purpose.
I agree. He knew exactly what he was doing because, as I've told you, Shannon, and you, Chris, I've been trying to psychoanalyze Kevin Durant for, 15 years on television. And the harder I look at him, the more I realize that he's not happy unless he's unhappy. He needs to be, he needs conflict and controversy to be his rocket fuel, because the worse it seems to get around Kevin, the greater he plays. He rose above incredible pressure in those 2 finals when the world was waiting for, the NBA world was waiting for Kevin to fall on his face after he left Russell Westbrook and joined forces with a 73-9 team. And what did he do? He played his greatest basketball ever. He won back-to-back MVPs. He needs that to fuel himself.
Right.
I'm now to the point where I think Kevin and Kyrie, being quote-unquote partners in crime, they love to, and they both have extremely high IQs, they love to sit back on a weekly basis and start little media fires with things they say or do that just burn the internet down for about 24 hours, and he just struck again. He knew exactly what he was doing, because the ultimate shot at Russell Westbrook is Serge Ibaka. You pick Serge Ibaka over Russ. It's so bad it's funny. You know, it's laughably bad. But he did it because he knew it was a great shot at Russ. I don't know if they've made up or not. I just think the blood went so bad that he'll never quite overcome it. And Chris, I've told this story before, but this all started for me back in 2012 when I'm still Kevin's biggest fan. He's still the best player on the planet. I thought it back in 2012. And yet I kept watching night after night that little Russell, the point guard, was taking more shots than Kevin. In the 2012 season, Russell averaged 18.7 shots a game to Kevin's 17.7. I didn't yet know that Kevin would turn into the most efficient scorer in the history of this league. But still, that just seemed out of bounds to me, so I would defend Kevin on ESPN. And one night, Kevin called over the reporter for the Oklahoman and said, hey, I want you to print this. Skip Bayless doesn't know you know what about basketball. And when I heard the comment, read the comment, I was dumbfounded, because I'm like, Kevin, I'm your biggest fan. You're biting the hand that feeds you. No, he wanted to show Russ some support. And he also just wanted to start a fire because he loves to beef with anybody.
Yeah, he supported him so much he forgot that he was one of his top teammates that he played with. So even if he accidentally forgot him, it just goes to show you he still doesn't view Russ in the category as a Kyrie, James Harden, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Really? See, I'm not saying Russ is Magic Johnson, but come on now, KD. Man, I don't get it.
He took 30. He took about 40 seconds for the whole list. Most NBA people could have named that list in 10 seconds.
Yes.
You know, Steph, Clay, Harden, Kyrie, Russ. It was simple. Now, he was trying to put it in order, I guess. Okay, it takes a little longer. But, Skip, here's what I say to you, your explanation, though. If he was indeed trying to start a firestorm, which he still has, why backtrack? Why say, oh, I'm tripping? Yeah, Russ, definitely Russ. Like, I don't know if he realized. I don't know why he would have backtracked. Because I definitely think, like you guys, he knew what he was doing when he said surge. But I don't know if he lost heart when those dudes challenged him or what.
Yeah, that's what, because he knew it. He knew how it was going to come across. Because Russ is just not Russ is not a scrub. Russ is an MVP. Russ got three triple-double seasons on his resume, about to have a fourth. And you mean to tell me he's not one of the top 5 teammates that you played with and you played 8 years with, went to an NBA Finals, and had the 73-9 Warriors down 3-1 with this guy riding shotgun? Ask LeBron. If you ask LeBron, who are your top 5 teammates? He probably will say D-Wade, Kyrie, Bosh, AD. Boom. He ain't gonna he gonna say AD, Kyrie, Bosh, Kevin Love, and
Mario Chalmers.
Rondo. You know, bro, we hate to bring to your attention, but D-Wade. Oh, yeah, my bad. I'm tripping, dog. D-Wade. Really? I mean, come on now.
So, Chris, to me, when Kevin said, oh, I'm just tripping, he's basically saying, I was just kidding about that.
No, you weren't.
But no, you weren't.
No.
But he was trying to defuse it a little bit.
Right.
Oh, I was just kidding. No.
No.
Damage done.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, but that's what I don't get. See, he creates these problems, and then when people call him on it, oh man, y'all tripping. Y'all know what y'all talking about. That was just, I was just joking. No, you weren't, bruh.
You ready for the clarification tweet?
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
It's coming. Mm-hmm. It's coming.
Okay.
So, Chris, you believe him or you don't believe him?
I don't believe he forgot. I'm sorry. and look, KD, I'm still somewhat in touch with KD, and he'll tell you, take me for what I say and all that. And, what I say is the truth, and you ain't got to psychoanalyze, paraphrasing him. But he also had burner accounts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people gonna second guess you when you had a burner account, and I admitted to having more, still doing it. And so, no, I just don't see how you could forget Russell Westbrook. They didn't play as long as this duo I'm about to name, but they were so associated with each other, it would almost be like John Stockton forgetting Karl Malone.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Or Kobe and Shaq.
How long they played together? 8 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe and Shaq, that's a good one, because they both played together, I think, 8 years. How do you forget that you played with Russell Westbrook? You were viewed as a duo, a tandem.
Yes.
It's just, and you remembered, sir? Come on. I'm sorry.
So, Chris,
I can't buy that.
Go one other direction with us. Kevin obviously got hurt again yesterday. Hopefully, I'm going to knock on wood, not too seriously with the thigh bruise. But Kevin has now missed 33 games this year. The new Big Three in Brooklyn have played together all of 7 games this year. Can they flip the playoff switch and have instant chemistry?
I'm concerned, Skip. I'm concerned. I've said I think they'll win it. But they are going to enter the playoffs with maybe 10 games of their best players playing together. 10 games. That is completely unprecedented. And we've had some great trios come together. LeBron, Wade, Bosh, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, and Elgin Baylor, Barkley, Drexler, Elijah. Like, to come together in the playoffs, my question is, how are they going to respond if they get into
adversity,
a tough, knockdown, drag-out series?
Yep.
That's the question for me, because, if they're rolling over teams, it'll be fine. But if they get in a real battle, how are you feeling? Is Kyrie, who's he giving the ball to? Is he giving it to KD? Is he giving it to Harden or vice versa? Like, I just think that is a big question mark. I want to watch the rest of these games to kind of see what it looks like. But, Skip, this was totally unprecedented. And to be honest, it probably wouldn't even be good for the NBA if they win it. Because what will that say about the regular season, chemistry, building a team? If you can just throw 3 dudes out there, I had a GM tell me the NBA is pretty much glorified street ball at this point. This was this season, he told me. That would confirm it. And I know they're a tremendous trio, like better than any other team in the league as far as their talent. But if they can just step on the court with 7 to 10 games together and win the whole thing, it's hard to fathom that they're going to be able to do that.
Chris, the bigger question is not can they flip the switch, and because they haven't played together, can they push the health button and stay on the court? Skip?
That's a bigger
question. We don't even know. I mean, James Harden, how close is he to returning? Kevin Durant's going to miss some, as you mentioned, 33 games. He's going to miss some more time. And then Kyrie might need another personal day. So we don't know.
Okay, but
AD hasn't played more than 6 straight games in 23 months.
The reason I'm not giving up on these big 3, when I did see them play those 7 games, it was extraordinary.
It was, but
it worked.
You know they play every other day. That's a lot of wear and tear because what we saw, see, you mentioned how you love James Harden playing all those minutes, and they caught up with playing 42, playing 44, 47 minutes in double overtime. It catches up with you.
You're just scared for your Lakers.
My guy rested. My guy on ice. My guy get that ankle right.
You just said it.
My guy on ice.
He's resting.
On ice. Chris, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
No mercy.
The man accusing Aaron Donald of assault apologized, saying he was mistaken, identifying the Rams All-Pro as one of the attackers. Rams Chief Operating Officer Kevin Demoff said, quote, "I think one of the things, it's always good to let situations play out. That's true in a particular time like this when it appears to vindicate the player." So, Shannon, how do you feel now after you've heard the truth about what happened?
I was happy to hear Aaron Donald was not involved. He was that of a peacemaker. And, Skip, I talked about this on Friday.
Yep.
I said a lot of times, Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald. He has the most recognizable name. He has the most recognizable face. And in a situation like this, you get knocked out. What's the man? I was fighting Aaron Donald. No, you weren't. You just remember Aaron Donald was there. And, you get a lot of reports that's coming out that they got put out of the, something happened. I guess he spilled a drink or he elbowed, bumped into AD, and they went outside and he was waiting on him, wanting to, why? So I'm glad Aaron Donald is vindicated. He gets to keep his name. He gets to keep his reputation. That remains intact because Aaron Donald is a defensive lineman, 6 foot, 6.5, 280 pounds. Why do you want to go in the street and fight somebody? Why would he? He knows that it's going to cost him more. That's a lawsuit. And so for me, Skip, and I know how you feel about athletes going out, but once you become a prominent figure, you're always a target. Grocery store, you have an accident with somebody.
Yep.
You might bump, it happened to me, Skip, I was in Denver, driving along the street, bumped the guy. I did $200 worth of damage. What I did, he had his license plate encased in a frame.
Yep.
I broke the frame. The tow truck driver sitting at the 7-Eleven. He see me, pulls up, asks me, is everything okay? The driver said, yeah, I'm fine, no problem. He looked back, he's like, Shannon, what are you doing this time of morning? The guy looked at me like, Shannon, yeah, that's Shannon Sharpe playing for the Denver Broncos. Skip. The guy grabs his neck, hand behind his neck, fall to his knees. In the middle of the road. I said, man, don't do this. Sued me. End up getting nothing, talking about, well, I'll tell you what I do. I'll settle for 3 jerseys and a helmet. I said, kick rocks.
Really?
Yeah, I told him.
You didn't even give him a jersey?
I wouldn't give him. He lied.
Okay.
But I'm glad Aaron Donald is free and clear of this. And this is just goes to show. A lot of times, sometimes you need eyewitness. This time the cameras didn't lie.
That poor man's neck.
Yeah, no, man. It wasn't this game. I did $200 worth of damage.
All right, back to Aaron Donald. I echo everything you just said. We repeatedly said alleged, alleged, alleged.
Correct.
We just didn't know. But I stand by what I've said for God knows how many years on television, that nothing ever good happens to a professional athlete after midnight in any kind of bar, even bar, restaurant, club, or strip club. This was the boom boom room, but now they're saying, Aaron's attorney is saying it was upstairs in sort of a private room that serves as an apartment above the establishment. But it's supposed to be even a private party within the party. And how did this gentleman get in there? Because it did start, even Aaron's attorney said, it started this way with the guy digging, you know, hitting Aaron in the back, with digging his elbow into his back, and that Aaron thought it was a friend of his and kind of like laughed it off for a second and then looked and said,
Bro, you don't know me like that.
Do I know you? And the guy was saying, did I mean to? Did I mean to? According to Aaron's attorney. And the attorney is quoted as saying it was apparent to Aaron and apparent to all witnesses that this gentleman was intoxicated.
Right.
Well, is that a shock? Seems like everybody's intoxicated at that point, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
If they're still there, they probably had a drink or two or three or four, right? Could drugs have been involved with other people around? Sure, they could be. Is it possible some are packing, some got a knife? Sure it is. And I've always said when you involve any kind of intoxicant, women, testosterone, late hours, everybody's not in their right mind, you know what can happen.
Right.
You look sideways at the wrong woman, and here it goes.
Right.
I just don't like it for Aaron's sake to even put himself in what became a very dangerous situation.
Skip, sometimes it's unavoidable. Skip, I've been at the movies, Skip, and people be, you know, Skip, during the previews, you just talk, okay. Once the previews and it goes dark, okay, it's time to cease conversation. Dude just kept talking. I said, my man, the movie started. You know, keep it down.
I've been there.
And Skip, he just kept talking. So I went, you know me, I pulled a Walter Johnson on him. I went and got management, asked them to keep it down. They wouldn't keep it down. So, you know, I got my girlfriend at the time. We left. Skip, we leaving. He come barging out. Oh, you the only one in the movie? What, nobody else had a problem with it? I was like, but bro, I said, bro, you don't want these kind of problems. I said, these problems give you a headache, cause nausea, extreme pain. I got my, said, give me my refund. Hey, got me 2 things of popcorn and I dipped. But see, Skip, I was at the right place, trying to do the right thing. He looking for a problem. See, Skip, you can't, once people know who you are, people try you for no reason. Man, I just want to watch the movie without you talking the whole while.
But you got a much better shot at the movies than at the club.
Yeah, but
you just do.
You do, Skip, but I'm just saying, once you become a prominent figure, you know, you just have to, you know, tread a lot more cautiously.
You do.
Because people, you know, they looking at, you know, and I ain't about that life.
All I know is that Aaron is, what is he now, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and he's in the midst of a 6-year, $135 million.
He underpaid.
Okay.
They need to tear his contract up again. He need to be the first $200 million man.
You could
for a defensive
certainly
player.
argue that. You can't risk that by going here and doing this. It's just too dangerous.
And he helped the man. The boy, he was
what they said.
He was about to get that thing shown up put on him.
Well,
He's like, come on, man.
He got it put on him pretty hard.
Oh, yeah, he lumped up.
Yes, he is.
That thing said, Skip, that eye closed for the next 2 weeks. Patch over I say closed for the weekend.
Okay, but remember, Aaron was in the midst of that. So he's in the midst of 6 years, $135 million. He was also at maybe 4 o'clock in the morning in the midst of some fracas outside the boom boom room.
I mean,
he was.
He could have came to Club Shay Shay. We don't have that kind of stuff.
You don't have any of that.
Club Shay Shay, that man right.
Because you are bouncers.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's invite only.
Right.
You can't, how you come to the club drunk?
Yep.
Where they do that at?
I don't know. I think they do it everywhere.
I can't let you come to the club drunk. Okay. I mean, you might have a few once you get there.
You're the bouncer at the door saying yes, no.
Yeah, no, you can't come in here. Because I already know you about to start some trouble.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not every club is Shay Shay.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Ooh, it's a special elite group, Club Shay Shay. Okay, just imagining you at the door. It's a great visual.
No mercy.
Curry has been on a hot streak, tying Kobe Bryant's 10-game streak for the most consecutive 30-point games by a player 33 years or older. And in a recent interview, Steph shared some of the toughest defenders he's ever faced. Holiday, Avery Bradley, Tony Allen, and Clippers guard Patrick Beverley all were named by the two-time MVP. So, Shannon, are you surprised that Pat Bev was one of the 4 defenders named here?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
What do you mean?
It was a caveat. It was a caveat.
A caveat.
What did he say, Skip? What did he say? He said the antics. Antics.
What about the antics?
No. The other guys, he didn't mention anything about antics. He mentioned that they...
He's saying you have to look past the antics
right.
to his ability to defend.
Stop it. He said, he put him in a separate category. He didn't mention nothing about antics with Avery Bradley or Tony Allen or True Holiday. He says it's almost like they know the play before he even develops. And you know, not that, you lose his confidence or anything, but you know you got to play your best that particular night. The other guy is all about antics, all about shenanigans. It ain't about defense. It's
Why
about
would
shenanigans.
he even put him on the list then?
Because those antics. Because there are a lot of guys that were defensive guys. I played against them. They're always doing something they had no business. It wasn't about their ability. It's the other things that you had to worry about. So you know that, I know that. Steph Curry mentioned those other 3 in very favorable regards. The other guy was more about antics. And you and I both know, because Russell Westbrook said the exact same thing.
Speaking of that, it was November 13th, 2019, when after a game in which James Harden had scored 47 points as his teammate in Houston, Russ's teammate, he said of Patrick Beverley, who on and off guarded James during the 47-point salvo, he said, Pat Bev trick y'all, man, like he playing defense. He don't guard nobody, man. It's just running around doing nothing. All that commotion to get 47, which is what James
got.
Okay, that was the classic diss of Patrick Beverley. He dismissed Patrick.
Run crazy, man.
Okay? He completely dismissed him as nothing but a bunch of hot air.
Yeah.
Basically.
Say, Russ got y'all fooled, man.
Okay, got y'all fooled. Steph Curry just blessed Patrick Beverley. Steph Curry is obviously the greatest shooter in the history of this league. We have no disagreement there.
None.
I would like to see more of it in the postseason, but that's another issue for another day.
Okay.
But right now, he included him in his top 4 defenders. And he mentioned the antics because his point was it's part and parcel of who Patrick is. You have to get through the antics to refocus on your goal, which is that basket and this basketball through that basket. And it's hard because he will get up in you and he will get up in your psyche at the same time. And you have to deal with both your psyche and the ability to shoot through him because it's hard. He blocked LeBron's shot, the three-pointer to tie on Christmas Day. Did he not do that?
Skip, he did that.
It's just wily, crafty, savvy.
First of all,
defending.
he didn't block the shot. LeBron was bringing the ball up. He swiped the ball, and the ball ended up going out of bounds.
Okay, but it qualifies as a block because he got it on the way up because he is what is he, 6'1", maybe? Maybe.
So let me ask you a question.
LeBron's 6'9", so 6'1" blocked 6'9" on the shot of the game.
Do you believe Steph Curry still believes that Patrick Beverley is a top defender as we speak here today?
Well, he just did the...
No. He said no because a lot of Avery Bradley hadn't played.
Well, Tony Allen.
Tony Allen is retired. Holiday, yes.
Okay.
All the guys without the antics.
Well, Patrick is still playing today at a high level.
He's not.
Well, he's been hurt lately.
Exactly.
He's got a broken hand. But he is still...
How?
Ask any of those Clippers. They say on almost a nightly basis how much they miss Pat Bev. He is still heart and soul of the Los Angeles Clippers.
I'm trying to figure out how he get hurt. Did he fall out the bump bed? He on the top bump? Because he ain't guarding nobody. He ain't scoring no points.
He fouled somebody so hard on a shot that it broke his hand.
Exactly. That's what he do. Fouling.
So he has played a grand total of 31 of 59 games. So he's missed 28 games. But if he comes back full force, they are rolling, and he will be the fire starter. He is the defensive catalyst for this team. And he shoots threes at a high rate. He is a clutch three-point shooter.
Skip, you see what you do? The guy make a few threes. He shoot like 2. He'll go 2 for 2. Next game, he might go 1 for 4. And you're like, you see that game he went 2 for 2?
He's a 40% three-point shooter. As a team, the Clippers are 42%.
Oh, they're shooting lights out from the 3. But wake me up come May.
Oh, really?
After May 15th, after Mother's Day.
Live by the 3, die by the 3?
After Mother's Day. Nothing good in the NBA happens before Mother's Day.
Really? All I know is live by the free throw, die by the free throw, which is why your team's down ranked 23rd in free throw shooting.
You said that last year. How we do?
I didn't say that.
We couldn't make threes last year. How we do?
Okay. Well, you live and die by the 3, but that you live by the free throw.
All I know is when we get AD and Brian back with Shaq Drummond, you saw what he did. On the break, stealing it, going coast to coast, 6'10", 280, coast to coast. Twice.
He scored 1 free throw in the fourth quarter of that game.
He was 7.
He barely played in the fourth quarter. So you're saying your savior barely plays?
Well, how did he do in overtime? Hold on. I want to get his stat.
Hold on. Was Rudy Gobert there? Oh no, he did not play. Who knew? So the big penguin should have had his way.
First of all, hold on. But you ain't saying nothing about AD and LeBron didn't play.
Well, so what?
Okay, well, so why Rudy Gobert?
It was even Steven.
Yeah, exactly. And we beat the brakes off him.
There's no Donovan Mitchell. There's no Rudy Gobert. So that's a trade-off, right?
Oh, trade-off. AD and LeBron is a trade-off between Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, huh?
Well, who's the better defender between Gobert and Anthony Davis? I'd say it's Gobert. Who's the defensive player? Is AD one defensive player of the year? He is not.
We put that work on Rudy Gobert. Remember last year we put that work on Rudy Gobert?
Well, he wasn't there to put that work on the big penguin.
Hold on. First of all, Ben Simmons just dropped 42 on Rudy Gobert. And you think he could do something with AD?
Well, Ben Simmons it can score on anybody. I've been trying to tell you that. That was the best trade no one ever made in Philadelphia.
Well, hey, first of all, Houston should be kicking themselves because they had a chance to have Ben Simmons, but that's neither here nor there. Skip, stop it. You know good well, Ben Simmons averaging 15 points a game. Ben Simmons is not a scorer, and he dropped 42 on Rudy Gobert here.
It wasn't on Rudy Gobert.
On Rudy Gobert.
Do you think Rudy Gobert was defending Ben Simmons? He was not.
Not every possession, but enough of them.
Do you know what he would have done to the big penguin?
Nothing.
By the way, that's an oxymoron, isn't it? Big penguins aren't big in the first place. The tallest penguin's 4 feet tall.
That's before a bird. It can't fly. Think it. He wanted to flightless bird. But guess what? He got something for him tonight, though.
Yeah?
You want something on the game tonight?
I don't even know who they're playing.
Then you know they're playing. They're playing Rudy Gobert.
Well, I don't think he's playing.
It ain't got nothing to do with me. You want the Lakers? I want the Lakers. You want some?
No, I don't.
You scared, huh?
I'm not scared. They don't have Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert.
Man, KCP and THT let that thing go.
Really? Pat Bev's got something for Dennis Schroeder. Just wait.
Oh, Dennis Dominic. He don't want another Dennis Dominic.
He wants everything.
No, he don't. He won't be there. He won't be there. He'll be hurt again.
Dennis the Menace will be out of his mind trying to deal with Pat Bev.
We got something.
Watch.
When AD and Bron come back.
Yep.
We're getting there.
Like Luther Vandross say, it's over now.
No mercy.
Guys, Tom Brady hasn't been shying away from social media since joining the Bucs. Brady tweeted a picture of himself attempting to high-five an official during the Bucs' win over the Saints for National High Five Day, and then he replied to another tweet about the QB being drafted 21 years ago by saying, quote, "Big day. My NFL career can legally buy a beer." So, Shannon, what's gotten into Tom Brady?
Skip, I believe with all these tweets, this is really who Tom Brady is in and of himself. I think he suppressed that for the longest period of time because he knew this was going to be looked down upon, frowned upon when he was in New England. But Tom Brady has a dry sense of humor. He's the guy that's always trying to tell jokes.
Go ahead and say it. It's corny.
It's corny. Okay, yeah, okay. I thought he was from the Midwest with all them corny jokes he be telling.
Yep.
But Skip, he's a guy that's going to tell the jokes, even though they're not funny. That's just who he is. And a lot of stuff that he posts, Skip, you're like, come on, Tom, you can do better than this. But this is who he is. We just never got a chance to see it because it was frowned upon from Coach Belichick. And so he's like, you know what? I'll fit in. I'll do whatever you say you should do. But now you're starting to see the real Tom.
Okay. So obviously he has hired a full-time social media poster. So you're going to get a daily dose of corny Tommy, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yes.
But to me, every social post reeks of saying, take that, Coach Belichick. Because for 20 years, he was under the iron-fisted rule of Bill Belichick. And Belichick, in his view, got way too much credit for what happened. So now He is rubbing it in. He is flaunting it.
What he should have done, Skip, is had a picture of him high-fiving and then have Coach Belichick. That's what he should have done. High-five, Coach Belichick, national high-five day.
Like he wouldn't.
Yeah, like he would be high-fiving Coach Belichick. Now, that would have got him.
Yeah.
Now, see, I said, okay,
He's
that's
not holding back. He's not holding back. That is it for Undisputed. We're back same time tomorrow. The Herd is on now. Have a great day, everyone.